I'm Paranormal Pete, and I'm on a journey to seek answers to the questions that have crossed all of our minds. What happens to us when we die? Is there an afterlife? I'm a regular guy who discovered the gift of psychic mediumship in my 30s. My passion for history and the unknown have put me right here, right now. My mantra for anything paranormal is, we don't know much and anything is possible. Join me as we find our way through the stories, evidence, and experiences of the paranormal and beyond in search of answers, even if that leads to more questions. Are you with me?
Hey everybody, welcome to the Paranormal Pete Show. I'm your host, Pete Orbea. Welcome to WLTK-DB.com. I think the best platform for all paranormal talk radio, whether it's cryptids, self-help, psychics, readings, ghostly hauntings, you name it. We've got some great content. There's true crime podcast on here. We come to you live every day, Monday through Friday, and tons of great shows, guys. And we have a robust archive as well. So this episode is episode 92. So if you want to catch up on some of my shows, go to WLTK-DB.com right behind me here and take a stroll through the website. It's pretty amazing. Big shout out to station owner and host of Haunted Voices, Todd Bates, making this whole ship run. I don't know how the heck he does it, but he does it. And also, just to promote what he does too, he's got his new book, The Haunted Voice, out. So go to the website if you haven't got your copy yet. But big thanks to Todd, and big thanks to everybody who listens to the show each week or downloads the archived version, the audio version, or maybe you catch the replay on YouTube. Always awesome to hear that people enjoy the show. So thank you very much. It's very humbling. And of course, we invite comments on the show and join the conversation wherever you're watching from, whether it be Facebook or YouTube or wherever. Hit the comment section if you have a question. We've got a special guest tonight, psychic medium Jackie Campbell, coming on here in a few minutes. And I got to meet her at the OC Paracon this last year, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm excited to have her on the show tonight. If you like the show intro, that's my band, Steady Rock Cosmonaut. There's my shameless plug for the band. Every week, check out steadyrockcosmonaut.com, or just look us up anywhere you like to stream audio. Wherever you get your music, you can find us there, and hope you enjoy the music. Of course, I've always got ghost walks and special investigations coming up. I got a ghost walk coming up not this weekend, but the following weekend. Was not going to schedule a ghost walk on Super Bowl weekend. Come on, folks. And then the week after, I've got special investigation, and those run through April. So if you haven't been on one, or you want to come back to catch the tour again, or join in on a paranormal investigation at the famed Walker Ames house here in Port Gamble, then go to portgambleparanormal.com. Right here on my hat, you can see all the upcoming dates and get your tickets as well. Pardon me if I'm a little wheezy, I'm recovering from COVID, but getting better. So anyways, I wanted to do the show tonight, so pardon my wheezing if I'm a little wheezy. Very close to coming up next month is the Oregon Ghost Conference, and you guys hear me talk about these conferences every week. You're probably like, oh, there he goes again. But seriously, it's a great place to meet other people who have probably had similar experiences as you. It's a great place to meet people on teams, mediums, and be able to a platform to be able to share your experience as well. So the Oregon Ghost Conference is coming up March 24th through 26th at the Seaside Convention Center in Seaside, Oregon. We recently had conference coordinator Rocky Smith on, and we're going to be having him on again mid-March to I think he's going to be sharing and announcing some cool stuff happening at the conference this year. So look forward to having him back mid next month to talk about the conference. But go to OregonGhostConference.com or go on Facebook and check out their Facebook page. You can see details and things like that. I am honored to be a speaker this year, and I'm going to be doing a presentation on the effects of the dead on us, the living, and also the effects of the living on the dead. I think that's an interesting concept, and so I look forward to presenting that as well. And I'll have a vendor booth there all weekend, so stop by and say hi when you're there. Also coming up first weekend in October is the Orange County Paracon. I'm a big supporter of this one. There's never been one in that area, so it's a really great opportunity for everybody down in SoCal and surrounding areas to have a conference to go to. Last year was the first in-person one. I was honored to speak at that one as well. But the second in-person one is coming up this year, and it's 3 days now instead of 2 days. So you want to go to ocparacon.com for that. And we'll be talking to our guest tonight, Jackie, about that as well and her experience at the conference. And then we have the 14th annual Port Gamble Ghost Conference coming up, Veterans Day weekend, right here in historic Port Gamble. And if you're like, where the hell's Port Gamble? It's basically across Puget Sound from Seattle, and it's one of Washington's oldest towns. It's a really cool setting for a conference, and I get to host that one. I'm lucky to get to host an MC, and you get to meet so many cool people. There's so many great minds in the paranormal up here in the Northwest, and so it's a great opportunity to meet some of those minds. If you like the station, like me, and you want to guess if I can get in view here, get some station gear on the website, WLTK-DB.com. We've got pretty much anything you can think of with the station logo. If you love the station, show your support, get some gear, and walk around. I guarantee people will be like, what is that? What's that all about? And so you get to share that. Also, there's our station app if you don't have it yet. So if you, wherever you get your apps from on your phone, look up WLTK-DB, and you can catch live shows, past shows, get to the website. You can do a lot with it. I use it to listen to shows sometimes while I'm at work. So it's really handy. So get that downloaded as well. There's so many shows on the station now. I think I've lost count. I don't know how Todd Bates, host of Haunted Voices, keeps it all straight, but there's so many shows. There's some new ones coming up that have started, and I just wanted to mention those. Soul and Synergy Radio with host Danny Loosemore and Terry Flick. That's a new one out. Host Benjamin Young is hosting Beyond the Afterlife, and One Shin is hosting One Free Reading Show, so free psychic readings there. And new host Lisa Silverman and new show Spirits Are Talking. So if you think you've seen or heard all the shows, I bet you haven't, go check it out again and see if you've seen or heard them all. But those are some of the new ones here. Upcoming guests. Let's see. Next week, I think I'm going to be off next week, but coming back, I've got host Amara Bonet, and I hope I pronounced that right. But she's the host of Voice of Oneness, Your Call to Awaken, right here on WLTK-DB. So she's coming up the week after next. And then I've got my friends Lance Foss and Tammy Langston from the Western Washington Investigators of Paranormal Science, better known as WHIPS. I think that's a great name. They're also the hosts of the new podcast, Because It's Paranormal. I got them coming on at the end of the month. I'm really excited to have them on. They're really fun to investigate with, and they've got a lot of interesting ideas that they try out. So we'll be talking about some of those. And then coming up in March, one of my favorite paranormal investigators out there. I've always loved talking to this guy, and he's an author to boot. He's an amazing investigator, Mr. Joe Teeples. Very excited to have him coming on in early March. So be looking for that. That's going to be a fun show. And then, of course, we got Rocky Smith coming up. And then I may do a show from the Oregon Ghost Conference. We'll see. But I'm creeping ever closer to episode 100 here. And so be ready for details on that coming up probably next month. I'm working on a 100th episode special, and who knows, we might have some music going on, a round table. It's going to be a lot of fun. So be sure you stick around for details on that. Well, now that I've said all that, show's over, guys. Just kidding. We got to bring on our special guest tonight and get some time with her. Her name's Jackie Campbell. Like I said, I met her at the OC Paracon last year. It was a lot of fun. She's an intuitive medium, pet psychic, and tarot reader, and she communicates with pets and loved ones from the afterlife. She also connects with spirit animals and performs personal intuitive readings for her clients. She's practiced mediumship and pet communication for over 8 years. Let's give a big show welcome to Miss Jackie Campbell. Welcome to the show.
Hey.
Welcome.
Thank you for the introduction.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you very much. Yeah, you've been a great listener and a great part of the show over this past year, always commenting and saying hello. So I thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to have some comments coming in and out, and I'll get those. And so, by the way, we got some people saying hello. If you go to, if you're coming from Facebook and you want to go, you want your name to appear, then if you go to the StreamYard Facebook page and allow that permission, then when you comment, your name will show up if you want it to. Doesn't have to be. We got somebody asking for a reading. Let's get back to that. Well, I won't forget about you, I promise. And then we've got Team Whips. Woo! Well, I love the name, Western Washington Investigators of Paranormal Science. That's Lance and Tammy will be coming on the show. Lance saying he can't wait to go to the Oregon Ghost Conference. Me either. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I look forward to seeing you guys there. And if anybody else is planning on going to the Oregon Ghost Conference watching, go ahead and comment. Let us know you're going, and that'd be a lot of fun. So before we get too deep into some things, I got to meet Jackie last year at the conference last October, and one of the things that was so cool is you gave a couple little gifts to my girls, and they loved them. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
They loved the little gifts, and you certainly didn't have to. So thank you for that. But let's talk about you. One thing on the show that I'm always asking new guests about is especially psychic mediums or however you're labeled, right? Is tell us about your experience coming into your gifts. Maybe, did you know at an early age that you had something going on?
So, I grew up with a family that was involved in the paranormal. My grandma was a spiritual person. She believed in spirits, she believed in afterlife, and she can see ghosts and spirits. She would tell me stories of where she grew up and how she developed her gifts. She was very clairvoyant and clear sense, so she could always sense when spirits were around.
Okay.
She was connected with animals as well, so I got to learn from her, and I didn't start discovering my gift until I was in like junior high, where I started feeling things out of the usual at my home. And my home is very historical home. It's been there a long time. It's in Whittier, so it's very Whittier is a place where it's very historical, where it has Victorian houses like back in the 1900s. It does have an old cemetery there, which is Rose Hill Cemetery.
Okay.
So, growing up in that house, I always felt like there was someone there. And when I was little, I always just started feeling things, and I always asked my mom, why am I feeling like someone's around me? Or why would I feel like someone's in my room? Or why would I feel like there's someone peeking around the corner at late at night, when I go to bed? So I didn't start to realize it till I was in junior high, and my grandma started talking to me about it.
Okay.
And for me, I'm very clairvoyant, so I could see things through my third eye. I can literally describe what the spirit is, and I'm very clear sense, so I can sense things all the time. I'm also an empath, so I feel what other people are feeling. So when I went to high school, I started learning more about spirits. I started listening to Coast to Coast with Art Bell back in the
Nice.
day. I remember going on trips with my family, and my dad and my mom being so into Coast to Coast with Art Bell, and they weren't afraid of the paranormal. They weren't afraid of the unknown. They weren't afraid of listening to ghost stories and hearing different mediums on Coast to Coast. And that's how I really came in love with the paranormal.
That's awesome. And I think your story is somewhat unique to where you had that support system and that your family was already open to things. And most people, you don't hear that type of story. And so, what did that, looking back, what has that meant to you? When you look back at your childhood, and what has it meant to you, like all the stuff that your grandmother talked to you about, and the support, what does that mean to you now when you look back?
To me, it's very special, because my grandma and I, we had a special connection with the afterlife. And she was very open to it. And she would always tell me, never be afraid of it. If you feel something, seek it out, feel it. Feel what you feel. Also, write it down. What, like, if you feel scared, write it down. If you feel joy, write it down. If you feel happy, write it down. And then my mom, she has a little bit too, because she's very telepathic.
Okay.
So she'll know when things will happen. I lived in the household with my mom, and where she would know when all the kids will call. Like, she'll be like, oh, I already knew you were going to call me, like, in 5 minutes. And I'm like, how? And I'm like, I just knew. And then I call in 5 minutes, or my sister calls in 5 minutes. And my dad was more skeptical because, he grew up where my grandma and my grandpa was just very skeptical in the paranormal.
Okay.
And so, but my mom's mom, which is my other grandma, she was very spiritual.
Yeah. Well, that's good though. That's good though. Like that there was kind of that family balance, mom's side more open, dad's side more skeptical, which, in the paranormal field, like you got to have both, right? There's got to be a balance of methods. And so that's really cool that you kind of had, did your dad's skeptic, view of things, have you taken anything from that? Have you been able to use that in a way?
Yeah, I was able to really I was trying to prove him wrong, to I was really trying to give evidence of there's
Yeah.
that life, there's someone there. But I think for him to see my work now, teaching classes about mediumship, intuitive medium,
Yeah.
pet communication, and always listening to shows about it, like Coast to Coast, and talking about it all the time and not being afraid to talk about it. It makes him more believable and aware, because there'll be sometimes he will ask me, have you encountered anything like at your place or with your friends? And I'm like, and then he'll want me to share stories about
Yeah.
it, and I
Yeah.
will share story. Or like sometimes he will dream about past loved ones now, which is interesting as he's getting older. And
Okay.
he would ask me, so what does that mean? Like
Yeah.
when
Well,
you dream about
isn't that interesting? And maybe he's had those dreams all throughout his life,
yeah.
but maybe, it meant something different to him, or, obviously your perspective changes as you go through life and you get more experience of everything in life. But
Mhm.
it's kind of interesting that now he's like noticing it more. And maybe you've kind of helped open his mind in that way. Maybe
Yeah,
you've helped him in
I
a sense with that.
I believe I have. Yeah.
That's
But
really cool.
and then when I started going to high school, that's when I really started to get involved in it, being a
Yeah.
senior in high school,
Yeah.
um,
Well, it's a turbulent time in everyone's
reading
life,
more
right?
about yeah, reading more about it, like
Yeah.
going
That's
to going to readings, psychic
yeah.
reading, doing a psychic reading or mediumship reading, stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. So as you're talking about, coming up and living in this historic home, and experiencing things there, were you ever able to determine, or like with the help of your family, was the activity going on in that place tied to the location, or do you think it was spirits that were with you guys?
So before my mom bought the home, my mom always felt like there was someone living there. And before she bought the home, there was a couple that lived there, and
Mm-hmm.
an older gentleman lived there, and he passed away. But he didn't pass in the house, but
Okay.
he passed around the land. But where we live is up on the hills, so it's up near canyon country where there's a lot of wildlife.
Okay.
And so back in those hills, it can be very creepy at night.
I imagine, yeah.
Yeah. So I do believe, there are spirits in around that land where we
Okay.
live.
Sure.
And my mom used to always say that she felt a man's presence
Mm-hmm.
in that house before she even bought the house. But she did buy the house because she loved the house so much.
Yeah.
And she really wanted the house, but she always felt like there was someone there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. So it sounds like maybe it was, things that were going on that you were experiencing as a younger child was things tied to the land, or the location.
Yeah.
And that's, I always find that's, if you can figure that out, that's always interesting, because, I feel like, what do you think about this thought that, has come up recently for me? And it was, someone had said, well, I don't live in an old house. And I'm thinking, well, I don't think that really matters. I think, right? If you think
No,
about it,
it doesn't. Yeah.
I mean, it helps. I think it
It,
helps. But what do you think about this? Everywhere we are, there are ghosts.
Oh yeah, I,
It
I believe.
doesn't matter.
I,
Everywhere there's humans, there's ghosts.
yeah, I believe anywhere you go, if you believe in like the paranormal, they're gonna know. The spirits are gonna know, and if you're open to it, you're gonna feel the interaction with them.
You could have experiences
Yeah.
anywhere, really.
You,
But I think
mhm.
a historic location does help. An older, like
Yeah.
an old European church, sure. That's going to help. And plus, it was a center of faith for so many people. And
Yeah.
I want to get to some of the comments here. I'm really flying in tonight, guys. Thanks so much. We got Mildred saying loves the videos. I'm entertaining and informative. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. A lot of comments coming in from YouTube tonight. Thanks, Jackie. That's where you're usually watching and chiming in on the shows too.
Mhm.
We got Bob here. Thanks for everything you do, Pete. Hi, Jackie. Looking forward to hearing more. Well, hello.
Hello.
And Angela's saying hello. And whoop, Bob found Angela. Hello. And Mariner fan. Hey, Pete, I'm a big fan. Thanks. I really appreciate that. It's very humbling. And a great friend of the show here. Hey, Pete and Jackie from Mary Phipps. Thanks for watching. Okay. So now we've kind of determined, okay, everywhere people go, there are ghosts.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think about pets then? And not necessarily pets, but animals. Okay. Do you think the same thinking applies, like, especially with pets? Anywhere we go, we have our own ghosts, right? That check
Mhm.
up on us, so that then there's the possibility of the pets coming right along with those people. And Mariner Blue, I like your hat. Right on. I'll have some for sale at some point on my website. You can get one, or come to one of the conferences and you can get one from me. Let's talk about pets first, and then I want to talk about animals, because I think you've had experiences with not just pets, but
Mhm.
animals in general. When did you, like, was it something that was always there, or was it something that after you've studied mediumship and you've studied your gifts and practicing them, did it kind of come into that, or was it there from the beginning?
So it actually was there when I was in high school. So when
Okay.
I was involved in the FFA, which is the Future Farmers of America, which is agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
And I took agriculture for 3 years, and I raised sheep.
Okay.
So every year I had a lamb that I would raise and show it in the OC fair.
Uh-huh.
But the first lamb that I ever had, I had such a special connection with that it just blew my mind away, because, you know, picking an animal out in general and picking an animal out for the first time to take care of it was I was very nervous, because first of all, I didn't know how to pick a lamb to raise, to take
Mm-hmm.
care of, to show at the fair. But when I came across this really cute small frame lamb, I felt we had a special bond. We were both connected. And then when I started taking care of it more and more, it's like, this lamb would follow me around the farm, always behave, never was very aggressive, was always kind and gentle and calm. So, that's how I came in love with the animals, is having that special bond
Yeah.
with my first lamb. And also, throughout my childhood, I had pets in general. I mean, I had cats, I had dogs, I had a hamster, I had a cockatiel, which, the cockatiel became a special bond with me as well. But having that lamb was like a friend, you
Mm-hmm.
know. I mean, it was an animal that I can depend on to have like a gentle side, to have
Yeah.
a nurturing side, to And I've never had an animal follow me so much. Like, it just was so surprising. So
Yeah.
it was like meant to be to
The
have this lamb.
the song should have been changed to Jackie Had a Little Lamb, right?
Yeah, and so that's why I fell in love with animals, and I started, and just in general, I can sense animals from the afterlife.
Yeah.
And then I started learning about spirit animals and what they mean and all the different spirit animals. And I just grew to love the spirit animals because they give off powerful messages that people need to know in life.
Yeah, I think
Spirit animal
there's
helps you in life.
yeah, I think that there's an ancient wisdom that comes through them. That's
Mhm.
something that we all need to hear from time and time and again. We're going to talk more about this. We're going to be taking a quick station break, but Mildred has posed an interesting question we're going to come back with. She asked Jackie, "How do I tell if a spirit is evil or not?" And so we're going to take a quick station break here. And when we come back, let's answer that question. And then we'll talk a little bit more about spirit animals. I'm interested in that and kind of how you have found that can really help people. So we're going to come back with that, and I'm here on the ones and twos here, right here on WLTK-DB, and we'll be right back with special guest Jackie Campbell. What a fun conversation. Thank you, and we'll be right back, guys. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, no station break. It seems to want to stop every time. So we're going to get right back into it, guys, here.
Messing with.
Yeah, it must be the ghost. Always blame it on the ghost, right? So let's talk about Mildred's question here of Jackie, how do you tell if a spirit is evil or not? And then we'll take your answer and then I'll jump on that too.
So how I could tell when a spirit is evil is when I feel negative around them, when I feel toxic around them, when I don't I just don't feel good around them. Like, I just feel like very tired, very drained around them. Um, Sometimes an evil spirit could push you and can tap on your shoulder really bad, which I've encountered many times.
I was just going to ask it sounds like you've felt something. So you talk a little bit about what that felt like.
Mm-hmm. So, I've been on ghost tours before, and private ghost tours where I felt someone push me all of a sudden. And I automatically thought it was an evil spirit because I felt like it just didn't want me there.
And was like maybe trying to push you out of the area.
Push me out of the area. Like a big push. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like one sign when spirits will do that, I feel like it could be an evil entity.
Yeah, or definitely does not have good intentions. So talk a little bit about, so you mentioned, what it feels, that it feels different, feels negative. Would you describe it as, like a really heavy feeling, a compression on you?
With me being clear sense, I feel a heaviness in my chest. Like my chest starts hurting. My body starts hurting. My body doesn't feel right. I start feeling sick. I start like emotionally fatigued.
Yeah.
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 Mhm.
It and I'll just add on as well that yes, definitely they feel different. They feel
Mhm.
heavy.
Heavy. Yeah.
And Mildred, I would also say like trust your gut. Like if
Mhm.
you're getting a feeling like something's not good and something is, not does not have good intentions towards you or others around you, like trust your gut. When in doubt, get out. If
Yeah.
you're, trust your gut because I haven't come across too many of things that I would, hardly anything that I would consider as evil. I kind of feel like that's a fairly strong word. But I'll tell you that I feel like I've noticed when I have, like you will
Mhm.
notice there will
Yeah.
be, it's extra.
Yeah.
I saw a gentleman one time uh, at the base of a stairwell going into a tunnel system in an old army fort up here in Washington. It's not Fort Worden, for those who live locally. It was at Fort Flagler, and I knew it right away. As soon as I saw the spirit standing at the base of the stairs, my family, we were out, playing tourist and checking stuff out, and we started to go down there. And I remember I grabbed my girls and was like, "Nope, we're not going down there," because it was like you just know you have to trust yourself. Like
Trust your
this,
instinct. Yeah.
yeah, this being was creepy,
Yeah.
and he was I don't know that he was evil, but he was super pissed off.
Yeah.
That he looked like he'd been stabbed in the abdomen a bunch of times, and that's how he died. And he looked super pissed off about it. And as soon as I saw him, he looked up at me and we made eye contact for a second. And it was just that heavy ton of bricks, hit you. And as soon as I was like, nope, we're not going to go down there, he like zipped off back into the dark there. So, Mildred, I
Mhm.
would say trust your gut. If you feel like something is not good, it's probably not. And so, back away or stand your ground if you feel comfortable doing that. But I think you generally will know. So, thank you, Jackie.
Mhm.
So, let's get back to spirit animals. Uh,
Mhm.
um, is there now when you say spirit animals, it's the spirit animal that we each have that is
Mhm.
unique to us, right?
Yeah.
That embodies the traits of our soul, our
Mhm.
characteristics and everything. Is
Yeah.
there one is there one that sticks out to you over all the others that you seem to come across more commonly than anyone else?
Um, so it's the owl. I love the owl.
Really?
It's
Okay.
my favorite. The owl has the great horned owl has been around me for a long time. I s- I sense him. I feel him all around. Um, the owl is just a very powerful an animal in general because the owl means pay attention to your intuition,
Mhm.
follow follow your goals. Um, the owl can see through the darkness, so be careful with your surroundings. Be aware of where you go throughout the day. Also, the owl wants you to make wise decisions. Trust your gut. Um, so I love the owl so much.
So you kind of find that a lot of people embody that and that's their spirit animal. I think that's interesting. I would have guessed like just
I
on a blind question, I would have like, thought like a wolf would be like the most common. You know what I
well,
mean?
I do believe that every person has their own animal,
Mhm.
and I have encountered many people that have had the cat in general, which the cat is owning your independence,
Okay.
uh,
Yeah.
owning your worth, like making sure you have self-worth, um, know that you're beautiful inside out, that's that cat as well. I've also came across people that have the butterfly, which represents change and transpiration, which means that, change is coming to them.
Okay.
Something to have a new beginning for them. So be aware of that.
So, okay, that's really cool. Do you think that your spirit animal can change, or you gain others as your life changes? So let's say you have the butterfly, right? And you do go through a life change. Maybe it's career, relationship, whatever it is. And let's say it was a good change and a transformation, and life's going great. Is there also another spirit animal that is with you? I mean, like, do they change with your life?
There are some animals that change through the seasons. So, fall, winter, spring, and summer.
Okay.
And then there are other animals that you have from birth, which I believe that you're destined to have always.
Okay.
They're always with you to guide you, to help
Mhm.
you life, to give you a little nudge that, hey, you're doing okay, even though like you could have a bad day. The spirit will remind you, okay, you're doing good. Like, just go with the flow.
Yeah. Quit worrying so much. Yeah. That's
Just take it as it is.
okay.
And there are other animals that do represent, like, courage is the black bear.
Mhm.
The black bear always is courage and being proud of who you are and taking the leap of faith,
Yeah.
and also there's just over hundreds of animals
Yeah.
that people don't know about.
What if you have the monkey?
So the monkey is actually a playful animal. So the monkey is all about
Having fun.
having fun and don't take life so serious. The monkey's all about, they go on with their life. They're doing the best they can.
Yeah.
They take time to be playful,
Yeah. And I would think,
learn.
do you think across the board, because in nature, I think you see this, is adaptation kind of an underlying theme with spirit animals? Like, every animal that I think that you can pick up on for somebody is adaptable, right? Because in life they're good at adapting. Is that something that, like, people should be conscious of? Like, no matter what you're going through, no matter what animal is guiding you in that time in your life, that it's always, animals in general are adaptive as humans are. Is that something that, like, people should be conscious of, like, to always know that you can adapt?
Yeah, I think people just have to be open and aware that the animals, they adapt to everything.
Mhm.
They always adapt to change.
Yeah.
They always adapt to the weather outside. So they take it as it is. And I always feel, sometimes animals are the role models sometimes. So
Yes.
they always teach us lessons that we just need to learn from. So
Yeah,
once we learn it, it just makes life easier.
yeah, and we can also learn, but then forget and have to relearn too. So I I think it's an amazing part of life, and a really cool part of the work that you do. Because I think it's so relatable, right? I think people can really I think people might understand a spirit animal reading than, you know, a regular reading where, you know, animals are involved, right? Because
Yeah.
everyone has their likes and dislikes and biases of animals and, you know, different kinds of animals. But I think it's so cool because I think it's more relatable to anyone, even
Mm-hmm.
someone who's not, you know, really open to the spiritual side of things, that they could find
Mm-hmm.
something that they can relate to with an animal. I mean, what's the coolest part for you in spirit animal readings and in general communicating with pets, animals in the afterlife? What's like the coolest part for you?
So the coolest part for me is feeling their love, feeling their gentle side, feeling, you know, animals has such a unconditional love
Mm-hmm.
that your friend, that you
Yeah.
can depend on them. And so I love feeling the peace of them and feeling just their just all the different like the different aura colors around them, and
Okay.
feeling their vibrant soul and their vibrant energy.
Yeah.
They're fun.
Right.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And I always feel, you know, there's just an ancient wisdom, like they know something we don't. they, they know something we don't, that whether it's like the connectiveness between all of
Yeah.
us, like they understand that or something. They've got something up their sleeve on us. They
Yeah.
know, you know, and it's up to us to try and learn what that
Yeah.
is. And that's the
Mhm.
challenge. That's the challenge, is to learn maybe what that is. And I'm
Mhm.
certainly gonna look at my little demonic cats when we're done with the show. I'm gonna try and look at them with a little different eye. You know, they're little demons at times, but you know, that's just how it goes. Hey, we got Debbie checking in. You know, Debbie, Transcend
Yeah.
with Debbie. Hey, Debbie Romero, thanks for watching. And also, Mildred wanted to say thanks for the insight on the topic of if a spirit's evil or not. She feels much more
Oh.
confident now that I know
Mhm.
what to look out for. I'll trust
Yeah.
my gut.
Yeah.
That's it.
Trust your gut and your instinct.
Yep.
Yeah. Always
That's something that's ancient in us, is
yes.
our gut and instinct. And
Intuition. Yeah. Too. Mhm.
yeah. And when you were talking about the cat spirit animal, Bob was commenting, he adores the cat. His cat's name is Gretel. Good name. I find them to be wise and even protective at times.
Yeah.
Um, yep.
Cats are very protective of their owners too. You know, they will. You know, cats can probably sense. Cats do sense more than humans,
Oh yeah.
because cat can sense when a spirit is even in the room, and they
Yeah.
can like protect us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think dogs do as
Oh, dog.
well.
Mm-hmm.
They pick
Dog
up on all that stuff. Yeah.
loyal
It,
to their owner. Mm-hmm.
cats are just, I guess, more subtle about
Cat.
it.
Well, cats are just very independent.
Yeah.
So cats, um, you know, they're just very independent animals. Whereas the dogs, they're more loyal.
Yeah.
They always want affection. You
Yeah.
know,
Yes.
they always want approval of the owner.
Yep.
Whereas cats, it's like, oh, like, leave me alone now. You know,
Yeah. It's like that
I'm
old saying, you know, dogs think that we're the gods, and
yeah,
cats think that they're the gods.
yep, hmm
It's
yeah.
it's so true. And Debbie was saying, "Hey, I'm glad she caught us both." Right on. Um, and Mary's commenting here. She has a 15-year-old pup who is very protective. Absolutely. Yep. Isn't that neat, the bond? And I think that's why that special bond, like you were talking about with your first lamb. You know,
She,
it
yeah.
it it'll that lasts forever. Like
Oh yeah.
the
I
bonds. Yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
I still remember the first time I got her, and we just had a special connection right from the start.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
which, what I've seen in more and more as I grow as a medium and do more work, I'm starting to pick up on pets more often with people. And I think that maybe it was just something that wasn't for me at first, but it's kind of coming on more and more. And it makes you stop and think those bonds we do have with our four-legged or two-legged, whatever, feathered family members or furry
Mm-hmm.
family members, like that stuff lasts forever, that
Oh, yeah.
bond.
Mm-hmm.
And it certainly, makes me feel a lot better for my furry family that I've lost, over the years, that I'll see him again,
Yeah.
we'll get to, play again. And it's
Yeah.
kind of a neat thing when you realize that.
Mm-hmm.
So, we did have, so we're getting low on time here, but before I wanted to ask the person who was asking for a reading if they could maybe just, is there something specific they're wanting to learn about? But I wanted to ask you if you had any upcoming classes coming up.
Yeah, so I now teach a class third Saturday of the month over at the Kindred Spirits in Claremont, and it's a
Okay.
medium gallery class.
Cool.
So it's a mediumship class where I teach all about mediumship, how to connect with the loved ones from the afterlife, how to trust your intuition. I teach about all the clairs. I teach about the how to meditate, say a moment, how to relax after a long day.
Yeah.
All the different aura colors. So I have like a whole series right now where I'm doing that every third Saturday of the month.
That's cool. Where can people find information about the class?
So they can actually go to the Kindred Spirits website, and my information will be right there under the calendar.
Okay.
And it will talk about what a mediumship gallery is all about. And it's an interactive, so I interact with people. It's like a spirit circle. We sit in the circle. We interact with each other. And also, they can also email me at jcppsychic.com.
Great. And I'm going to put the link to the place where you do the classes here in the comments.
Claremont.
Yeah. Here we go. So it should be going out there. So everybody, I'll put it up here real quick. There it is right there. You can easily see Jackie's upcoming classes there. That's really cool. You have a recurring class. Good for you. That's awesome. And so let's circle back here. The person who is asking for a reading.
Oh, one more.
Yeah.
I was gonna let people know that I'll be joining the OC Paracon again in October. So which will be happening it's a 3-day event in Anaheim.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. So I will be doing readings, and I have a booth already ready, set up.
Cool.
So I'll be there again, doing readings about spirit animals and mediumships and aura readings if they want an aura reading.
That's awesome. And you do tarot as well. So you do a lot, and so don't overdo it. Make sure that you don't overdo it for your own health. But that's awesome. Well, so coming up in October then, folks, if you want to go meet Jackie in person, check out ocparacon.com, and she'll be there, or go to one of her classes that's coming up. That's really cool. Well, we've got just a few minutes left, and so the person, are you still there? I'm sorry it took so long. If you're still there, please comment. They just said, "May I have a reading, please?"
What was the name of the person?
It was one. It said Facebook user, so I didn't have a name or anything. So if you're still there, go ahead and comment. So so we know. If I'm in if I feel like if the person's still there, I hope you are. You've got a trust in business, something with your job that's going on, I think. If you're there, yeah, just go ahead and comment. And if you're there, I'll continue on. But so what's like last year at the OC Paracon, it was a new in-person one. Like, what was your favorite part of it?
I loved meeting all the speakers. I loved meeting everyone that was involved with the OC Paracon. I love meeting the vendors. I love meeting the speakers. I love meeting the guests that came because there were a lot of guests that was very interested in the OC Paracon, interested in what we do. I love all the lectures. I mean, there were so many lectures I learned from that I never knew, like about like the Queen Mary. I didn't know that there were so many ghosts and spirits on there.
Oh yeah.
And the haunted OC tour.
Yeah.
I love meeting them.
Yeah, all the presentations were cool.
But every single person I love. And I also love meeting Henry.
Yes.
Henry is a really nice guy. He's really fun. And so when we connected with each other, it was just very fun. It was very natural. It was just fun. He's a fun person. Yeah.
For those who don't know what we're speaking of Henry San Miguel, and he's the conference coordinator, and he's also the host of Paranormal Perception. So maybe you're already to know that show, so you should know Henry. But if you haven't seen the show, check out Paranormal Perception. The website's paranormalperception.show. And Henry's a great guy, very genuine, and the conference was like, everything felt so genuine. I totally agree. Like, it's so cool to go be able to learn. Even if you're someone who's been doing this 20, 30 years, you've been doing mediumship or paranormal research or whatever, like, you can always learn something. That's one of my most favorite things about doing this show is I get to learn every week.
Yeah.
And I hope that translates to everybody watching, that you get to learn too, because no matter how long or experienced or whatever we're doing, we can always learn more, right? We should never stop learning. And so at the conferences, it's cool that you mentioned that you're able to learn various things. Well, I'm guessing that person's not there.
He probably left.
It might have left. I'm sorry. I was going to try and get to it, but we had cool stuff going on. John saying, "What up, a big fan, Pete and Jackie. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Thanks to everybody for watching. Like I said, I'm going to be off next week, but I want to wish everyone a great Valentine's Day, a great Valentine's Day week. With whoever you're with, whatever you're doing. But I'll be back the week after with special guest Amara Bonet, the host of the Voice of Oneness here on WLTK-DB.com. And Jackie, I want to wish you an amazing rest of the week. And your upcoming class.
My upcoming class is February 18th.
Yeah, that's a week from Saturday.
If people want to come and join, it's a lot of fun. It's an hour and a half from 7 to 8:30, and they could just call the store and reserve their spot.
That's awesome. So not this Saturday, but next Saturday. I've got another comment. Deirdre, Dee, it's great to hear other people's perceptions and points of view. Thanks for the show tonight. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
That is my wonderful sister,
Oh,
one of many that I married into. So thanks for watching, Dee Dee. But yeah, wishing you the best, Jackie. We'll have you on again. I want to hear an update on your work and what's going on. So definitely
yeah.
before OC Paracon,
Oh, yeah.
like to welcome you back to the show, and to everybody listening out there and watching. Thanks for taking the time. Really appreciate it. Thanks for being here, being present with us right now. I'm always talking about that on the show, is being present, something that is harder and harder for us to do in our daily lives because of all the distractions and the phones and the social media and all that stuff. It's hard to be present. So I hope that everyone was able to enjoy a time of being present this evening. And I wish you all a great week and a fun holiday next week. And I'll be back the following Tuesday for episode 93 as we creep closer to episode 100. Awesome. Woo! I don't know what I'm going to do for that show yet, but it's going to be crazy. I think, I don't know. I'm going to at least try and make it crazy. So everyone, thanks for watching. We're on WLTK-DB.com. It's the Paranormal Pete Show with special guest Jackie Campbell. We're going to sign off. I'm your host, Pete Orbe. Everyone have a great week. Take care, be well, and we'll see you on the flip side. Wait.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks, Jackie. Really appreciate it. And now I got to figure out how to get us out of here.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.